Huge.
I hope you're jamming out there in Facebook world as well. Welcome, one and all, to another edition of What's Happening Live, where we here give you the gossip on all things happening at Farmers Alley Theater. My name is Rob Weiner, and alongside me is the festively adorned Jeremy Koch. We got there some Feliz Navidad pinatas there.
Yes, pinatas with Santa hats on, and then of course some holiday tacos and some holiday cactuses.
What would be in a holiday taco?
Probably some chocolate, and then some white chocolate, and then some caramel, and it's all in one delicious thing.
Okay. Improv skills already shining. Ladies and gentlemen, we're so glad that you're with us, and we're so excited here to speak with the stars of Murder for Two Holiday Edition in just a moment. And if you want to join the conversation and say hi and share your thoughts with us, make sure that you go to StreamYard.com/Facebook to let your comments be heard and seen here in the little area below where you can type and interact with the show. We'd love to hear and speak to you. And if you got anything to say to our guests, Joe and Brandon, you may recognize Joe from a few years ago when he stopped by Farmers Alley Theater. But Jer, it's been a while since we've done one of these live shows. You know, last time we were doing this was before Songs for New World opened in October. And what was that like? I mean, I know what it was like for me, but before we get to Murder for Two, I just want to quickly debrief about what it was like to come back to the theater and return with our audiences during Songs for a New World.
Well, as you know, it was extremely powerful and emotional and special, and the energy was palpable. And I mean, getting back in there and you and Adam and I doing that curtain speech and having a real live audience, I mean, it was electric. And I was super proud of the production. A lot of hard work went into that production. And we had a dynamite team of directors and designers and actors and crew and musicians, and could not have been prouder. And the people that saw it really seemed to love it. You know, it had a little bit of hope and inspiration, taking us into that new world, this post-pandemic theater world, and giving them a little something to touch the hearts and minds and souls. And so, that was my experience. What about you?
Just talking to everyone on the phone when they were made reservations for the shows, whether it's for Murder for Two or for Songs for New World, it's so great to reconnect with our audiences. That was what we've been missing for so long. And to feel the energy in there during the performances, an incredible live band, some of the greatest songs of modern musical theater. It really was just an inspiring reopening in a way here at Farmers Alley Theater. And one of the things we had a little survey that went out to our attendees afterwards, everyone talking about how much they felt safe and informed about our COVID-19 safety protocols. Of course, everyone who comes to Farmers Alley needs to show proof of vaccination. We are still masking up in the theater space. And there's our house manager, Becky Close, joining us, mentioning how many of the patrons and attendees just so thrilled to be back sharing the magic of live theater with an in-person audience as opposed to through this screen. So we're certainly blessed with that show. We're so excited and really overwhelmed with the response we've gotten for this show, Murder for Two Holiday Edition. Now, Jeremy, we produced Murder for Two, the original version, back in 2016, didn't we?
We sure did. It was a huge hit. We had Joe Kinosian, who is here to do the holiday edition. He was one of the stars. He also wrote the music and some of the lyrics. So, I mean, this is his baby.
Kind of talented. Yeah.
And Jeremy Scott Lapp came to direct, and he's just been a real great supporter of Farmers Alley and a great guy and a great director. And so, and our audiences just loved it. In fact, I think, Rob, you're really in touch with our audience base, doing surveys and answering the phones. And this is one of the most sought after or, requested remounts in our books, right?
Yeah, I mean, 2016 is part of the Gilmore Festival, and remember we were back at the Little Theater on Oakland Drive for that one, so we had a larger audience, and even with a theater house basically twice the size of what we have at Farmers Alley Theater, there were sold out shows left and right. The entire run basically was 99% attended, and we asked folks afterwards if they would want to see this show and these performers again, and they said yes, and we're so blessed to have Joe return in this brand new version,
Kind of.
this holiday edition, which I think makes perfect sense for this time of year, and especially when people are looking to laugh and just be flat out entertained. Oh, thank you, Jan. This one is going to be incredible. So before we bring our stars, Joe Kinosian and Brandon Lambert, out to speak with us, we've got a little preview video that sort of explains a little bit about the show, and you get to see their two smiling faces in costume before we meet them here. So let's take a look at Murder for Two Holiday Edition in rehearsal.
Hi, my name is Brandon Lambert, and I am playing the role of Officer Marcus Moskowitz in Murder for Two Holiday Edition.
And I'm Joe Kinosian. I'm playing all 9 suspects in Murder for Two Holiday Edition, which is a crazy, zany, wonderful, wacky show where one actor plays the detective investigating the murder and the other plays all of the suspects that he's interrogating. And
we both play
the piano.
Really excited to bring this show to Farmers Alley. It's so funny, not just for us, but for the audience, and it's a great show to bring your whole family to.
Murder for Two Holiday Edition is running at the Farmers Alley Theater from November 19th to December 12th.
So go to farmersalleytheater.com and get your tickets today.
Is that theater with an R-E or E-R?
I think it's an RE.
Gotcha.
It is with an R-E. Very good, Brandon.
It is.
Let's bring them on to the show right now. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Joe Kinosian and Brandon Lambert.
Hi.
Hey there,
Gentlemen,
you handsome devils. Welcome.
Welcome to Kalamazoo.
Good to be here. Good to be
It's good to see you. I hope we're not having issues with Joe here, because that's all he is issues with him, but he can't hear us right now.
Oh,
so we're just going to speak to Brandon real quickly. Brandon, you got to kind of play the straight man against Joe in this show.
It's hard.
What is your experience with Murder for Two been, and what is the show about? Maybe take those in reverse.
Yeah. Well, it's about the murder of Arthur Whitney, a great American novelist. And I, Marcus Moskowitz, am a police officer who's trying to solve the case so I can get promoted to detective. So it's a madcap mystery that is so funny. I can't even tell you. I've done this show hundreds of times, and I never get sick of it because it's always a riot. The audiences go crazy, and it's really hard though. The hardest thing about it is to like keep it, play the straight man and keep the straight face, especially when Joe is doing his thing, which is so good. I can't even tell you.
So you and Joe have performed before on stage together?
One time. The first time I ever did the show was with Joe. And then he and Ian Lowe went on to do the tour, and I took over in the Pittsburgh CLO. That was the first city I did the role in. So I did it for a few months, and then I joined them on tour as an understudy and ended up taking over the role for a few of the sit-down productions with the tour. And it was so much fun. And I'm really excited. This is the first time I'm doing the holiday edition, which is even wackier and has some great little holiday twists to it.
Well, while we're working with Joe's technical issues, now that he probably can't even hear us, was Joe a good mentor, a good stage partner? Because you guys are out there for 100 minutes, basically, never really leaving the stage at all. And you got to be exhausted afterwards and really trusting of your partner on stage, no?
Oh, for sure. I think I leave stage twice for maybe 15 seconds, and right. All it is like, water, give me water now. But yeah, when you do it with Joe, it's just, you're in such good hands. I mean,
right.
Nothing.
So Joe plays 9 different suspects,
and
a
dead body.
And a dead body. Okay, don't want to overstep that.
Yeah.
And you have to play the detective. That's sort of like, oh, here he is.
Welcome. I can hear. I couldn't hear
before. Praise.
And listen, you got to make an entrance.
Yeah. Ladies and
Or
gentlemen,
certainly do that.
reference.
star of stage and stage. It's Joe Kinosian. Welcome back to Point
Hello.
the Zoo.
Hello. Thank you. So good to be here. What did y'all talk about?
Oh,
I
a
mean-
little of this, a little of that.
Brandon was telling me how much fun he has working opposite you, how you're always keeping him on his toes. But Joe, you have to play how many different characters in this show?
Well, it's you can rearrange the numbers to mean what you want to mean. It's much like being a statistician because it really is like 9 full-fledged characters. Plus, I think I heard you say a dead body, Brandon. Dead body. There's some ventriloquism, some light ventriloquism. So yeah, it's somewhere between 9, which is probably most accurate, and 13, which sounds spookiest. So a lot of theaters say it's 13 characters.
I like
13.
13. That's good. So tell us a little bit about the plot.
Well, it's a classic sort of farcical setup where this hapless young officer who dreams of being a detective stumbles into this situation where he's trying to solve a murder before the real detective shows up, and he has about an hour to do that. And unfortunately, the suspects that he's interrogating are very unwilling to help in any way, shape, or form. They all sort of have ulterior motives and a desire to basically do anything but help him achieve his goal.
Can you give us a little taste of some of those characters? Like how much range are you showing here?
I mean, I run the gamut of emotions from A to B in this show.
Wow, that's range.
No, there's there's young to old. The youngest is 9. The oldest is somewhere in their 80s. There's men and women, and sort of it kind of goes all over the place.
Whoever wrote this really needed a great performer to pull this off.
Well, what the person who wrote it needed was an actor who was willing to work for free, which is what they got. No, we actually it was originally, when we first started, done with me and our friend Marcus Stevens, which is why the character is still called Marcus all these years later.
That's an Easter egg, folks.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
So when you initially wrote this with your writing partner, Kellen Blair, was it always this 2-person, 1 piano show, or is that something that evolved or came up within writing it?
Yeah, I mean, there's very few things that manage to stay with the show from the beginning to now, sometime later. And one of them is, we've always wanted it to be the 2 actors. That theme of two-ness, of being in a partnership, is a constant thread in a whole bunch of different ways. Plus, there's 2 deaths. No spoilers, but it's all part of that theme of two-ness and having friction with a partner, and then also working together to be more than the sum of your parts.
Brandon, do you have a favorite part of the show?
I mean, I don't know about favorite part, but I will say it's really special to do a show where you do get to play the piano as much as you get to in this show. And it also, in a weird way, kind of, because it's 90-minute show, and sometimes it can get so crazy, and sometimes just sitting down at the piano and it really kind of grounds you. So anytime, and then the parts where we play piano together are also really, really satisfying.
You guys do some amazing musical gymnastics with that piano that I don't want to spoil for our audiences. Just make sure you stay till the very last cue. This, again, I was talking to Brandon about how you're on stage for basically the whole 90 minutes. You are athletes, both of you, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, it is a very demanding show. It's taxing on your memory because you have to know both tracks so that you know where to go. And it's taxing on your body for sure. I feel like every time one thing one part of your body starts to feel better, another one gets worse. Like if your wrist is hurting, your wrist will start to heal, and then your knee will start to hurt, and then that'll get better, and then your other ankle will start to go. Just because it's nonstop running around, and also vocally very demanding too. It's it's a lot of screaming in a lot of different vocal registers.
I was going to say, Joe, between all the characters you play, not just the vocal gymnastics and range that you have to have, every single character you do so wonderfully and so hilariously has its own physical stature. And the way you shift into each of those characters for the audience out there, it's really a sight to behold. We did a show called Fully Committed a few years ago that does a lot of the same similar stuff where one actor is playing multiple characters, and it's a gigantic skill that West Michigan audiences are really going to be in a treat for, because Joe is one of the masters of changing characters, both vocally and physically, all while making it make sense.
A master of voices and physicality, and not of how to use StreamYard. No, thank you, Rob. That's really kind. I mean, that is always my goal, is like, actors learn this when they first enter working professionally, that like you can't coast on adrenaline. It seems like you can when you're first starting out, but you really can't. It's a technical skill, and my job in this part is to be as clear as possible so that people can follow the story, because no one's going to laugh at anything if they're confused. So that means a lot that you framed it that way.
Absolutely. No, the audience, trust me, you guys are going to laugh a lot. Brandon and Joe, I mean, why do you think audiences love and clamor for the show and are doubled over? We had one of our patrons last time send us diapers because she may have peed her pants during the performance. I think that was something. What makes the show so funny, and why do audiences love it so much?
It's such a mix of like really smart, clever humor and some really witty lyrics, but then you get like out of nowhere these kind of, and this is a compliment, some stupid jokes that are so funny and so out there that it even I know the script by heart, and sometimes Joe will say a line and I'm like, don't laugh, and
Yep.
And the show does have a little bit of heart too, because you two have to kind of fall in love in the show as well. Is that true?
Spoiler alert.
We don't know.
We lost your
Hi,
partner.
Joe.
That just overwhelmed him. He couldn't handle that question.
There's a little bit of romance. There's a little bit of romance with a few of the characters.
Yep.
A little bit of tension.
We don't want to give too much away.
Yeah.
If this all sounds very exciting to you, then we really hope that you will join us for Murder for Two. Tickets are on sale right now. They're selling super fast. We open a week from tomorrow night, November the 19th. Hi, Joe. We open a week from tomorrow night, November the 19th, and run through for 4 weekends through December 12th. FarmersAlleyTheater.com. Theater with an R-E. Good job. You both got that, so that's good. While we've got you here, gentlemen, I'd love to get with some hot topics here all across the theater world with a new segment I'm calling Instant Reactions. So, if this was super produced, we would have something like that. But no, there we go. Oh my God, she already had it. Instant reactions. That's our producer.
That's pretty
our
slick.
producer, Julie Nemitz, making the chyrons happen, getting Joe's audio all worked out. So here's some instant reactions. The big news that dropped in the theater world this past week was that the Wicked movie has cast its 2 leads. We have Cynthia Erivo as Elphaba and Ariana Grande as Glinda. Jeremy, I know you're a big Wicked aficionado. What are your thoughts on that casting?
I actually love it. I mean, there's probably nothing Cynthia Erivo can't do. I'm a huge fan. And Ariana Grande has her roots in the theater. She was in 13 the musical on Broadway, written by Jason Robert Brown, who wrote our opening show, Songs from New World. She has a huge following, obviously a huge pop following, as a pop star. And so, my thought is always, the more we can bring people in to experience the power and beauty of theater, the better it is. I mean, there's obviously some exceptions to that, but I kind of love this. I think it's going to bring in a whole new generation of fans to Broadway and musical theater.
Joe, Brandon, your thoughts? Any ideas about who they should cast as Fiyero, perhaps?
Oh boy. I mean, I can only think of theater people, and I'm sure they want like a movie star. But no,
Anthony Ramos was great, and I don't. That's probably weird. I think he'd be fun though.
I've seen his name in some chat groups or whatever.
Oh. I heard Jordan Fisher's name dropped.
Yeah, I think the casting is great for all the reasons Jeremy said, and I feel like when I think of seeing Wicked when it first opened, like Ariana Grande just kind of makes sense as a successor to that sort of era of Kristen Chenoweth. So I think it's it's exciting, and it's cool. Like you said, they both have their roots in theater, although they've become big stars in other right. So like maybe we wish that they were just like dyed-in-the-wool theater performers in both tracks, but like at least those two know what they're doing.
All right, so thumbs up from that. Here's our next hot topic here. Broadway just announced that they're extending their vaccination requirement and mask requirements through February of 2022. I will go on record and say that I am happy with that. I want us to continue to go out there and get vaxxed. And so go out there and do it if you're not already vaccinated, because we want you to come to Farmers Alley Theater as well. And my kids, in fact, just got their first shot today, so I'm very excited about that.
That's great.
So maybe they'll be able to come see Murder for Two in a few weeks here. I think we're all in agreement that anything that keeps the public and the artists as safe as possible right now is a good thing. Well,
Brandon, I know that you're a militant anti-masker. So how do you feel about this?
No, I mean, I was surprised it was even news, because I thought that, well, at least Broadway in New York, you have to be vaccinated to even go out to eat. And I don't, is there an end to that? I thought that was like,
it's certainly, I mean, the requirements in New York City, you guys certainly know better than we do here, but they're pretty rigid there. And everyone's got their little app on their phone, that has their status and everything in there. So this certainly makes sense for New York City, especially since we're reopening tourism to other countries right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then I know Equity. I don't think, did Equity put I think it's indefinite with the masks until.
Yeah, I think they just keep changing it. They don't like give it a final date. No, obviously it's great. It's such a small thing to do to be able to enjoy this again. I just truly don't understand like what the resistance would be. It's such an easy thing to do.
Well, I'll tell you, our audiences have been, I'm on the phone with them, selling tickets to Murder for Two Holiday Edition, farmersalleytheater.com. And they're calling all the time. And when I reiterate our COVID-19 safety protocols, they always say, thank you. And I'm glad you're doing this. And so I think that anything, like you said, Joe, that gets the arts community back and alive and well and away from this, shutdown that we've had for so long is a good thing. So thumbs up.
Yes, and audiences, we will only be spitting in each other's faces, never yours.
True. That's true. Last thing I'll mention here, the Lucille Lortel Awards, which are the Off-Broadway Awards, just announced that they're going to gender-neutral categories for their awards. And just taking your temperature on that, to me, all these awards are super subjective, and pitting actor versus actor is how do you measure the worth of that anyway? So, Jared, I don't know, any thoughts on this?
I mean, I'm all for gender fluidity. I think that it, because for instance, I saw Once on This Island, the revival recently, and Alex Newell was Mama. Urally, thank you.
Sure.
How how do you categorize Alex's performance? And I said he, and I'm not even sure that's his pronoun. So, I think that there is a case to be made that there are often times where, rather than putting someone in best male or best female, why don't we have something more gender neutral? So I'm for it.
Yeah. I'm all for celebrating things as much as possible. You know, it's always one winner. You know, my initial thought was, does that cut the awards in half if there's a best male actor, best female actor? Well, maybe it's time to, instead of having nominees, we just have honorees, something like that. That was kind of my thought behind it.
Yeah, you know, it seems like a change from tradition, and until you think like, well, we don't. First of all, we don't call like female doctors doctresses,
Right.
and and we don't have like best male sound effects editing, and you know, like
Right.
just if you think about it through that lens, it's like, yeah, it's all the same job. We are all actors. I think it all makes sense to just use that as the descriptive term. And I just would say too, my favorite awards that they give out for theater are the Theater World Awards, which are, they pick all the honorees ahead of time. There's no competition. You don't
Right.
you aren't waiting to see who's going to get the envelope. And it's just performances of note for the first major role in a Broadway show. And it's so lovely. It's such a celebration of what we actually do. And it has nothing to do with that categorization. It's just, I think they pick like 20 or something like that. So anyway, Brandon, what were you going to say?
No, that's a good point, Joe. Like when it's like, you know, when you win best score one day, it's not best score by you know. But I do wonder if, like, because, you know, the Tony Awards are so much about marketing afterwards. So cutting the categories down, I wonder. But I think it's cool. Yeah, just have best actor and any gender can win.
Yeah, and maybe it's like, you know, 10 nominees like they started doing for Best Picture. Although that's not a good parallel because everyone hates that. But maybe that idea, and then you pick 2 out of that. Hopper.
Right. If you still pick 2, then you're good. It does make it, you know, the other thing that's kind of difficult is it's already difficult to put someone, you know, is the whoever plays Valjean better than who plays the Phantom. Like that's already hard enough to decide, you know, that. But when you're saying like who plays Valjean and then who plays Elphaba, that I feel like that's even harder to kind of determine, you know, the winner in that case. But that's getting into the weeds, maybe.
No, that's a fair point. Yeah, it's what we're all trying to do more of nowadays, right? Which is realign our thinking and try to see things through new frames, which is good. It's not easy. It's still a challenge for anyone, no matter how good your intentions.
I like what you said about making it celebratory and less of a competition. And so like having those honorees might be cool. So just some interesting things to talk about. Thank you all for that instant reaction segment. Now, before we close out, I know this is Brandon's most exciting part of the show. We're going to do a little musical.
He's going to win.
Oh,
he's going to win.
No way.
And
cheers.
There we go. So we're going to start with Brandon. And Brandon, you get the first opportunity here. And if you get it wrong, then Joe has the opportunity to steal.
Oh, God.
Okay, are we ready? These are all musical questions that have to do with shows, that have to do with Christmas, etc. Blah, blah, blah. All right, I'm ready. Here we go. Number 1. What iconic musical begins on Christmas Eve at 9 p.m., but also has songs titled Halloween and Happy New Year? What musical starts on Christmas Eve at 9 p.m.?
Rent.
Very good. That's
I got one. Wow.
That was the easy one.
Wow.
All right. Question 2 for Joe. This is a fill in the blank. Know your lyrics. You're a lyricist, so you should be able to know this one, right? So Annie is a Christmas show. What's the first lyric from the musical's closer, A New Deal for Christmas? I know the Depression's blank.
Depressing.
Very good, Charles Strauss. Yes. I know the Depression's depressing.
Here, let me tell you something about Annie, and this is going to sound like a joke. I love that show so much. I don't ever want to be in it. I only want to watch it.
Well, you'll have your opportunity in just a few weeks for Annie Live.
Woohoo!
Gary Connick Jr. and Taraji P. Henson, yes?
Can't wait.
Do you even love all the 8 to 12-year-old girls screaming really loud?
I think that's why I don't want to be in it.
All right, moving on. Brandon, in the musical Promises, what time is it during the office Christmas party?
I can't believe I'm gonna get 2 in a row. Turkey Lurkey Time.
That's right.
I was doing the Bjarkly ponytail thing.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Turkey Lurkey Time indeed.
Tom Turkey went away, but he's just come home.
All right, Joe. Before Pasek and Paul won Oscars and Tonys for La La Land and Dear Evan Hansen, they penned this nostalgic musical, which had a live version air on Fox and was narrated by Matthew Broderick.
It was A Christmas Story.
Very good. Yes, A Christmas Story.
And no one shot their eye out.
No, I sure did.
Thank goodness. All
Dog
right,
fight. No.
we've got some really
Nostalgic.
we've got some really smart competitors
We do.
here.
We do.
All
It's
right,
all right up,
Brandon.
Rob. In
Brandon
case
was
you were
trying to
wondering,
psych me out and say he didn't know any of these.
I didn't know that they would be like
things
pretty
that you
easy.
knew.
From your generation, you can say it.
I thought they would be all like kind of, you know.
Well,
Old
Promises,
school.
Promises is old school. That originally starred Jerry Orbach.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. But I mean, I've watched that Tony's performance like how
So
many
good.
times. It's so good. It's so
Yeah.
good.
All right, we're all tied at 2-2 here. So, Brandon, you have the opportunity to take the lead. He must have a penchant for Christmas shows. After winning the Tony for Annie, this book writer also co-penned the script for Elf the Musical with Bob Martin.
It's a little
So
harder.
he is the book writer
Mhm.
for Annie and also wrote the book for Elf.
He also enjoys Murder for Two.
Oh, really?
We've got a famous fan.
Or at least he said he did. He may have been lying.
Yeah, I'm gonna let Joe take this one.
His name is Thomas Meehan.
That is
Never would have got it.
What is it?
Didn't he also co-write the producer's book?
Yes, he did.
had a hand in that. So yeah, he's
Extra
a
point for you.
funny guy.
Extra point for you.
All right, Joe's up 3-2. Here's another one for Joe. They don't celebrate Hanukkah in Fiddler on the Roof, but they do in this newly revived musical set in Louisiana during the Civil Rights Movement. There's even a song called The Hanukkah Party.
Hanukkah, oh dreidel and menorah. We celebrate it even though it isn't in the Torah. That would be Caroline or Change.
Very good. Oh, he's even got the lyrics. Everything. Now, does Murder for Two Holiday Edition reference Hanukkah at all as part of the holidays here?
Yes, it does semi-obliquely.
Because Hanukkah actually starts during the run of the show. It's starting early this year. I think November 29th.
Fantastic. Yes, there is a sort of sideways reference.
Break out the
Right, just got
Manischewitz.
a few more questions. Brandon got a chance to catch up here. Even the best little whorehouse in Texas celebrates the season in this fine and dandy song made popular by who else? Dolly Parton. It's fine and dandy.
I
That's
know. I'm
helpful.
gonna be embarrassed when Joe answers it.
You know it.
I'm sure I do, but
It's been covered by various pop stars.
oh,
Hey, maybe I'll dye my hair.
I don't think I know this one.
P.S. for the Broadway people who are watching this, that original cast album, not the movie, not the revivals, not the concerts, but that 1978 recording, that's one of the best cast albums ever.
And the
Heard it
song
here
is
first.
Brandon, do you want to take a whack
Oh
at it?
no, I don't think I know it.
It's called Hard Candy
Hard
Christmas.
Candy Christmas.
I
And it's technically not a Christmas song.
Not really, no. All right, well, I think Joe's kind of run away with this.
It's technically a whorehouse closing song,
It is.
which
I'm
is
thrilled to just be on
also,
the board right now.
also a bittersweet kind of theme.
It is bittersweet. That's right.
I'm going to see if
They
there's a
have to
question
leave the
here.
whorehouse.
I'm going to see if there's a question here that Joe doesn't know, but I think he basically knew every single one of these. How about this one, Joe? Billy Elliot dances with electricity in his Tony-winning musical that features this tongue-in-cheek holiday song about the Iron Lady.
It's Merry Christmas, Maggie Thatcher. Isn't that what it's called?
That is correct.
Another one for Joe. My pen's running out of ink. He's got so many points.
If pick something from like the last few years, I bet Brandon will have that.
No, don't make it easy, because then when I miss it, it'll be even worse.
Well, we had
Holy
some
Finnegan.
questions about Elf and A Christmas Story, the musical.
I don't know Elf. I don't know Elf. The musical.
All right. Here's the final question, Brandon. Okay, well, Joe is our theater winner.
Oh
We know
shit!
that. We'll
Forget
get one
it.
more
This
question.
one's not worth extra?
This is worth all the points.
This is
worth
for the
5,000
game.
points.
This is for the win, actually.
This romantic comedy set during the Christmas shopping season was one of the first musical theater shows that Farmers Alley ever produced. Now, Jeremy and his wife Deneen starred in it, and they may not be Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan, but one of those stars' movies revolves around the same framework as this musical.
So in high school, we did it for reasons which still escape me because it's an odd choice for a high school.
It
Oh,
is.
wait.
It was just revived recently.
Is it She Loves Me?
Yes. You
All
win.
the points.
You
All the
won.
points.
Let's go, Brandon.
You win this Snickers. Don't say that. You win this Snickers that I'm going to give you the next time we're at rehearsal.
Oh, that's wow. Now I'm actually looking forward to it.
How dare you?
I'm just
Close
kidding.
to
It's so much
earlier.
fun to rehearse this one.
Oh,
Well-
you guys are doing a fantastic job. I'm laughing so hard. I mean, like both of you, I know the show not as well as you do, but I still know the show pretty well, and we are all cracking up. All the directors and designers are just cracking up, and we just can't wait for an audience to come back. And anyone that's seen it before is still going to love it because they probably love it, and they get the little extra holiday, flavor sprinkles on top. And anyone that's never seen it before is just going to be like blown away, extra amounts. I just can't wait. I'm such a huge fan.
And I saw it 5 years ago, of course, when we did it here, and I don't remember exactly who ends up being the murderer. So it's all going to be brand new to me because I can't even remember what happened last week. If you want to ask me what happened 5 years ago, so that's fun. Joe, Brandon, thank you so much for joining us. Everybody out there in Facebook land, thank you, and YouTube land. Thank you so much also, Jeremy. I want to thank our producer, Julie Nemitz, who's been working tirelessly behind the scenes to make this happen. Thank you, Julie. You can get your Murder for Two tickets at farmersalleytheater.com. And if you want to see some exclusive content, you could always join our text app community, and you can text Jolly to it right now. The number is on your screen. Just pull out your phone, text Jolly to 269-248-5374, and then you'll be on our community list. You'll get these exclusive photos. We had a photo shoot the other day where folks got exclusive stuff before anybody else, special offers, things like that. You don't want to miss being part of our community. There it is on the screen for you right now. But we're getting ready at Farmers Alley Theater. We're like Mariah Carey. Christmas is here, and all I want for Christmas is for you to come and see Joe and Brandon in Murder for Two Holiday Edition.
Yeah.
We'll see you there at the theater, vets, masked, and ready to laugh.
It's hysterical. Everyone needs a laugh. It's been a rough 18 months. I know you need a laugh, and this is going to give it to you. You got to come see their show.
Awesome. Well, thanks, guys, and we'll see everybody at the theater.
Thanks, y'all.